because I'm the mother.
Holy mother of all the mothers in the
Yeah.
whole motherland. What's up?
What
My
up,
bad.
sis?
My bad. I was jamming out. Didn't even see
Hey,
you.
that's cool. You put on enough right on time, right when I popped in.
I love NF. You know that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's
Hey,
like
look
almost,
at me in my fucking hair. I hate the short shit, but I didn't have a
yeah.
choice.
Nah, you good. I just want to make sure I came up here. Like I said, I'm chilling. But now I just want to get up here because obviously it's a long time overdue. Should have been did this with you. We've been rocking
Yeah,
together
we've
for a
known
while.
each other for years.
Yeah,
Been
pre-COVID.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been
yep.
a while.
It's been a while, so I've been watching your growth all the way through. I've seen your ups, your downs, your stagnates. I've been on both sides of your
Been
back and forth
crazy.
with mutual people that we both interact with, and
Yeah.
I've always been there for the positive, encouraging words. So that's why I want to get on here today, just to kind of clear some stuff up,
Okay.
because I don't want you to feel like it's D1's people. That's just ignorant people. I've been rocking with D1 for 12 years. I heard a song he did called 50 J and Wayne. So you
Okay.
know me, I'm all about like uplifting my community. I've
Oh
been
yeah.
doing it. Me and you've talked about it or DM
You
back and forth
introduced
about it.
me to Bizzle,
Yes.
who I
Yep.
love. I
Yep.
love him.
And so I've seen, I think, well, first, just start with the first part of it. So you got hip hop and rap. That's where people
Mhm.
are getting it twisted. You know what I mean? I know you know the true meaning of hip hop. You
Mhm.
know the original four elements. We're not gonna get into all that. So rap is just a piece of it. But I think what people are getting distorted now is the newer generation, the younger generation, and there is a lot of stuff going on in certain communities that is being
Mhm.
affected by what these rappers are pushing out with the industry. It's always been, you know what I mean? I was a big NWA fan. I heard you
Mhm.
talking about it on your thing.
Mhm. I
But
tried
now,
to be as respectful as I could. I
yeah,
didn't go in on him or anything.
no, for sure, for sure. And again, I'm not saying you did. That's why when I did send you the message, I said, hey, I just wish you would give it a second thought, because
Mhm.
he does have a positive message. There's a reason why Kendrick Lamar, who probably
Exactly.
is one of the top rappers, if not the top rapper in the world right now, after he took down Drake, mentioned Lecrae and DEE-1.
Right.
There's a reason for those two. Out of
Right.
any rapper in the world, he could have picked. He could have went and did somebody
I
like a
was so
Russell.
happy when I heard Lecrae because I'm
Oh,
such a huge Lecrae fan.
yeah,
Like I was
yeah,
like, oh yes.
yeah. And we've talked about that one too. So again, I mean, I respect your opinion on it. I see where you were going with it.
Mhm.
But with that interview, he has, like I said, he stood on a business. If you listen to that song he had, it was called 50 J and Wheezy, because he's from Louisiana. He's a big time, well, was a big time Lil Wayne fan, Hot Boys, Master P, like all that. Like,
I reacted to Against Us remix by
yes,
D1, Big Crit, and Lupe and fucking loved it. I mean,
yes.
loved it. He can rap.
I,
I
I remember
mean,
that. I remember that. So again, if you listen to that message, he's always been about, and that's what I respect about him. He's always stood on that he doesn't like it, because he was a middle school teacher before he became a rapper.
mhm.
So he saw how it was influencing his kids, and we can see it. Like I see it. I coach. I've been in the community. Been coaching for 27 years. I'm in the high schools now, and you see the influence that hip hop music has on everybody, but
Right.
especially our
And
youth. So
it's
their
not
minds.
just but it's not just hip hop. Rock does too. Like
Sure,
and
sure,
I guess my hang up with it is, I was in the school shooting and
right.
he wrote me a letter explaining why he did what he did and apologizing and shit. And I still haven't forgiven him and I know that's wrong, but it is what it is. And
Understood.
he blamed obviously bullying, but then he also blamed a movie, Natural Born Killers, and
Mm,
the devil worshiping music he was listening to at the
right.
time. He said he felt like it gave him power. And to me, I'm like, what a fucking cop out. Like, and maybe that's why I'm so like, and it's like I repeated the lyrics of that Eminem song because it's so fucking true. I just don't
It,
agree. Like, if you make a choice, you then blame it on a fucking song. It's
and
just
see, that's the thing. I don't think it's the blaming though, April. And I mean, because I agree with you. I used to sing that song. I used to quote it all the time. But when you think about it, and like I said, like I said, me and you've talked. I still
Mm-hmm.
listen to some hip hop, but it's mainly the old school people that I like.
Mm-hmm.
The only ones I really like was Corday, who you were just playing. That's why I said it was perfect time when I came on. You playing NF and Corday, like doesn't get any
Love
better than
that
that for
song.
me. And
Yeah.
I mean, Corday's one of the only like new age artists that I really rock with like that. Because I still think he's very lyrical. And just listening to all these different genres of hip hop and what it's done over, well, rap. Let's not talk about hip hop. Let's just call
Right.
it
It's
rap for right
different.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just talk about rap.
Because it's
So
gangsta rap.
right, and
Yeah.
it's drill. So now gangster rap has turned to drill rap, and I put that in the comments to you. Like, if you look at it, these guys, these gangbangers out there talking about on YouTube the people that they shot. I shot April from this group and this, and then they come back and then they start describing. I left his body in the woods. He's buried here, and they're talking
No,
about this in
I
these
ain't
raps.
seen that.
If you listen to the drill, they discuss it, the whole Julio Fulio thing, like that whole thing that went down in Florida. That was back and forth over two crews going back and forth, and then like within 12 hours of the guy getting shot and murdered, the other guy that he had to beef with wrote a song about it, like being shot and run up on. So when you start hearing that, that is changing it. That is messing up the communities. So that's what D1 is after. Like, why are we? He had two students. One got shot, and he also taught the shooter, so he knew both sides of the gun. And it's called my student got shot, and it said both sides of the gun. And when you
In the
hear that,
street or at school?
I think it was just in the streets. It was
Okay.
over street stuff. It wasn't at school. It wasn't a school shooting, so it doesn't traumatize you to that point. But it's one of those ones where when you see that, you can understand his heart and his passion to want to change his community because of the lifestyle he's choosing. The same thing
Right.
with me. I want to change my community. I want kids to see a better way. And I stopped listening to a lot of that stuff that was glorifying. I can't go back and listen to some NWA stuff now. I don't. It doesn't turn me on
I
anymore. Like
guess
it's
the
like,
problem I have is
uh-huh.
just disregarding legends.
No,
Like
for sure.
if we're gonna do that, we got to get rid of Eminem. We got to get, because he's disrespected women. He's talked about drugs. We got to
Mm-hmm.
get rid of Tupac. We got to get rid of Bone. We got to get rid of all. I mean, everybody pretty much, except for NF and the Christian rappers. And
So
I'm like,
yeah, no, that's not it. So here's the thing to me. Legends are what we make them, like, right? Like everybody has a flaw. So now it's Biggie and Diddy. Like, what are we gonna talk about now? Like, are they legendary anymore? You know what I mean? Is R. Kelly still considered
I
legendary?
think Biggie is. I hadn't heard anything bad about Biggie, but
But he
Diddy,
ran this.
absolutely not.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, he ran in circles with him. We don't know when Diddy
Well,
started all
you
this
look
like
at all the
crazy, crazy
people
stuff.
that's hung out with Diddy, though.
For
I mean,
sure.
it's been a
That's what I'm
lot of
saying.
a
A
lot. We
lot.
don't know. We
Right.
don't know.
So we're not gonna go down that path. What I'm saying though is we as people, like whoever you consider, you put them on legendary status. Like to me, legendary is KRS-One. Like
Oh
and
yeah,
so that's to me, he's the true legend. You know what I mean? Like that's it. I mean, I'm a big Red man. I mean, Nas is my favorite of all time.
yeah.
And Nas, I wouldn't even. I mean, he's legendary too in some people's minds. But like I said, if I say legendary, like who is the epitome of hip hop?
Of
To
hip
me, it's
hop, yeah.
KRS-One. He's not the best lyricist. He's very good MC. He's very, and
My
he still does his
best
thing.
bar breakdown was a song of his with the last emperor Zach De La Rocha, CIA Criminals in Action. That's my
Really,
favorite bar
please
breakdown,
send that
the
to me. I
best
haven't
breakdown I've ever done.
send that to me. I
It was
haven't.
before I could pull up videos. I was still new, but it's
Send
my
that.
favorite.
Yeah, send that to me so I can check that out. So I don't have to go searching for it, please, if you
Oh,
can.
I will.
Yeah, because I haven't seen that. So yeah, I mean, again, D1 has been battling this for 15 years, but he stood on his business, and now stuff is coming to the light for him. And so that's why I said, like,
Okay.
the fact that Kendrick shot him out, he knew. He knew. He said it in another interview. His life has changed over the last 24 hours after that happened, the good and the bad. He was actually on a live being crucified or persecuted in a modern day way by people in New Orleans. Say he couldn't come back to the city. They're gonna shoot him. They're gonna kill him because he was going against Wayne. That he was talking
Yeah,
about that whole thing. He was on a live with
I
another
saw that.
podcast,
I saw that.
and then right when he was doing that, the comments flooded with like hundreds of people coming and say, "Yo, Kendrick just shouted you out." That if that's not a sign of God moving,
Yeah,
because he came in with all this positivity when this guy is feeling like, "Hey, I'm on the cross right now." Like they're hitting me in the side just like they did my Savior Jesus. And again, I'm not saying what people believe. I'm not going to get into that
right,
right now.
right.
But in his mind, he
Well, you
believes
know what
Jesus
I
is Savior.
believe, so
Yeah, exactly. And you know me too. So his believer is Jesus Christ. That's his Savior. He's sitting there getting look at these comments from like people like he just rocked with, like people he taught, and they're like, "Yo, you can't come back to the city." His nephew is in the school system, and they're dogging him out. Talking about, "Man, what's wrong with your uncle? He's tripping. He's doing." So now he's dealing with all these family battles. he's on his live, and then all of a sudden it comes in, yo, Kendrick just shouted you out. Kendrick just did this. He just called you out in the song. He's like, what? That's God coming at that last moment, saving this bro, like giving him some hope, because he was,
Yeah.
after 15 years. If you go back to that song that he wrote in 2000, I think it was 9. I didn't just find it until 2012 is when somehow it came across my whatever I was listening to. Probably, I don't know what it was back then. I don't think it was YouTube. I don't know what I was probably listening to, because I was a big Lecrae fan, but forever. I've been listening to Lecrae for 20 years.
Yeah,
So
I've
to
been
see
listening
both
to
of them,
Lecrae for a while too.
yeah. So when I hear that, and that's why I said I don't want you to take that on D1 or his fan base, because if it's, I didn't even see it. All the comments I saw, people were kind of giving you respect, and you were sending some stuff back. I did, one person said something about this what happened with white
Right.
WYT people, and I started to comment, but I was at work, and I was like, and then I see this, and I'm like, yo, and then I saw you made it private. I'm like, dang, they must have really went in on you, and I know you don't know how
Yeah,
to
because
bite your
you know
tongue
I
like
don't
you
do that.
fight back.
You know I do not
Right.
private my shit. Like,
Right.
I'll leave it up and let people talk. But when it turned into racism, I was like,
Right.
okay, I'm gonna end up getting into it with these people, and this is ridiculous. And I just privated it because I'm like, I just need to shut the fuck up, and
Yeah.
they feel how they feel, you know. But it
Right.
did hurt. It hurt, you know.
I'm
I
sure you're
mean,
human. You're
yeah,
human.
I'm a human, and my whole channel's about hip hop and breaking
For
down
sure.
bars, you know. And it's
And that's
like,
why I said it's not people who know you, April. That's why I said don't let that affect you. That's somebody, and half of them probably, again,
I
I
mean,
don't
it's
know
like,
who it
did,
was.
did y'all read? I pinned your comment and thanked you for it.
You
So
did.
it's like, did y'all not read that? I pinned
No.
that for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
So let me ask you this: how, was it a bunch? Was it like a handful? Like, I mean, how many
it
people
was
was it?
about 12, 14 people.
Okay. So again, that was a lot of people coming. So you probably got a lot more comments than you've been getting on recent ones, because it was steadily getting a lot of stuff because it's getting traction, right? So
Right.
at the end of the day, that's people coming to your channel, they know nothing about you, and then they just speak on something. And again, even yourself, and you kind of admitted to me, like, yo, I didn't know that, coach. Like, you don't know
Right.
everything that, and then if you probably
I
would have,
didn't know D1's background or his history.
right,
I should have researched that before I did the video. That's my bad. I usually do, but I was so in my feelings, I guess, you know, but I did try to keep it respectful. You know, I didn't call him names. I didn't, you know.
you did.
So,
That's what I'm saying. You did it right. I mean, again, you went at it from a legendary stats, and I guess, like you say, like gangster rap to me. I mean, obviously, Two Live Crew, like it was fun. Like I was that was my time. Like, I was, I'm 52, so let's just put it in
yeah.
perspective. I was
Well,
18 in 1990.
I'll be 44 next month. So, like when I was in high school, it was mid late 90s. So it was No Limit and Cash Money for me,
Right,
you know.
right. So
And I can't imagine my life without that. Like, that's
right.
Tupac too. Like, I listened to a lot of Tupac and Bone and all that stuff. And I'm just like, what?
So I was in
Like,
high school. Yeah, I was in high school when Two Live Crew was taking on, censorship, and
yeah,
Luke Skywalker, and then that's when, because I had already had Ice T and King T stuff from like, and Too
yeah.
Short from like 85, 86, talking
I
about
love Too
pimping.
Short.
Get
Love Too
yeah,
Short.
great. Enough, like I said, so they already had that freedom of speech. They were already doing it, but Two Live Crew started having girls come on stage, getting shut down in concerts, like all this crazy stuff was going on. So the censorship became a big thing. And so then when they started doing that, then that's when all of a sudden gangster rap, there was Jerry Heller, and you can Ice Cube has spoke on that vividly about what he's done and the agenda that was being pushed towards the community. So then all of a sudden that started spreading to where everybody, like, I grew up in Hampton, Newport News area, not the best area, like Allen Iverson's hometown, whatever. But in Hampton, we had a gang called the Phoebus Raiders. They all wore the Raiders hats. It was all because of what was going on in California. So it
Right.
started to show how the community is shifting because of the music they listen to. 1992, I'm rolling down the street, smoking Indo, sipping on gin and juice
Yeah.
because I'm hearing that. We're laid back with my money on my mind. So again, it does influence us. It's not the reason. It's not a good cop out, like you said earlier with that school shooter using that. It's not, and that's why I understand what Eminem says. You can't use that as an excuse. You
Right.
still have to make, and that's what I
You,
love
you
about
have to
my,
take accountability for your
yes,
actions, you
right,
know.
and you have
That's
sovereignty.
my issue. That's
Mm-hmm.
my whole issue. It's like, cuz I've heard it from one of the most evil people I've ever known. And, you know, I mean, he supposedly found Jesus now and
Of
stuff, but
course.
it's like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he can't undo what you saw that's traumatized you to where you're at right now at
No.
44 years old. So I get it.
Mm-mm.
I get it. And again, April, that's why I said I respect. Yeah, I told you I respectfully, humbly talk to you about everything. And
And I
again,
appreciate it. I like,
yeah.
you know, I'm always open to listening to other opinions,
And
you
so what I
know.
would have done in your situation, sort of, if people started talking about this stuff, like, look, go look at my D1 reaction. You will see I rock with this guy before. I just don't
Right.
see his view. We don't have to agree on the same view. That's what's wrong with the world today. Everybody feels like we got to agree.
Love you. Good night.
Tell Jackson I said, what's up?
He done walked out. He don't want to
That's
be
cool.
on camera anymore. I'm
That's cool.
cringe now.
Uh, right. But no, that's what's wrong. I mean, people feel like just because we disagree, we can't still be amicable. We can't still talk things out. We can't
Right.
still discuss things. And once people start throwing the race card out there, that, like I said, I mean, I was raised by a black man. My ex-wife is black. My son is biracial. A 21-year-old wonderful son. Like, at the end of the day, I'm over the whole race. Like, that has nothing to do with it. But again, the music and some people, because again, you even mentioned about some of the parents. I think in one of the comments, like if somebody brought up parents, at the end of the day, if parents aren't doing their job, music will influence people, kids, to do the wrong thing or go down the wrong path. So my whole take on it, that's why I had said to you, was like, hey, give it like, don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater type thing, because it's not D1. He has a pure heart. He is definitely, I mean, I rock his shirt. I got his hoodie. Be
Mm-hmm.
righteous, be real, be relevant. It keeps his threes up, the 3 R's. And he's been rocking on that for, I don't know, 8 years. But if you go back, his message has been the same. We have to hold these rappers and these label industries accountable for the music that they're pushing. The pill popping is out of control. How many more young
Yeah,
rappers do we got to
all
see
these,
die?
I know a lot of these mumble rappers are always talking about lean pills constantly. And I'm
Right.
like,
So you just said lean. I mean, 3 6 Mafia, like, come on, like, sipping on
sipping on some
scissor.
scissor.
I was rocking that, but that doesn't mean I was drinking it. DJ
I
Screw,
mean, I
his
never
whole
drank lean.
DJ Screw made his whole profession off of slowing down a bunch of the Houston songs, and it just had that beat to make you just zone out. I didn't mean
Mm-hmm.
you had to do it. You know what I mean? Like I said, I
Right.
was smoking weed, I was drinking it, but people are doing it. They are influencing this pill popping. They see it. I mean, and again, to me, that's why I think it's the whole image is why Lil Wayne didn't get. It ain't got nothing to do with Kendrick versus Lil
I
Wayne.
agree.
It's
I
his
agree.
image. I mean, he's the one that's pretty much started the trend with all
Could
the
be his
syrup.
criminal record too.
Exactly, and he's
Because
going
the
on there.
NFL's strict as fuck about that shit. I mean, really, they are.
And they push
I don't think it was Jay-Z necessarily that did it.
right.
He might have played a small part,
Now,
but
he
I
played a
don't.
part. Yeah, he played a
Yeah,
part for sure. For sure.
yeah, yeah. But I don't think it was just like you said. I don't think it was about that at all.
No, it's
I
more
mean, look,
about
it's
what he stands
Kendrick.
for.
It's what's popping right now.
Wow, exactly. And that's what thing people too get twisted. Like, just because it's in a certain city, they didn't. That's not how it used to be. Just because you're in a city don't mean they should do that. I mean, if that's the
It's
case, they
like
should
I
want.
said, I'm like, the fucking Super Bowl's been in New Orleans 10 fucking times, and y'all ain't said shit about Lil Wayne
Right,
till this year. And
right.
what pisses me off is like, and all them trying to like incite violence
Yeah.
for the. I'm like, y'all are gonna fuck it up for every hip hop artist ever if y'all do some crazy shit like that.
And again, that's why I said, like, because they did the one in Cali and they did that and stuff went
Yeah.
kind of left, and so they got to be real selective of what they do. But I mean, heck, for a while there ain't even been hip hop artists; it's been everybody else. So at the end of the day, to me, like, Kendrick is obviously a good choice if you're gonna go hip hop. I mean, jazz is what they should be going with with Super Bowl, because in New Orleans, like, that's what the home of jazz is like.
Yeah.
But they're doing that. So I mean, I understand why people would be upset about it if they went hip hop and did that, but they went about it the wrong way. And then Lil Wayne didn't help by coming on there and not even giving a like kudos to Kendrick, like, yo, that's cool for you, Kendrick.
You
He was
know,
hurt.
when I was live when Lil Wayne dropped that video, and
Uh huh.
so my initial reaction, I hadn't had time to process it, think about it. It was just and at first I felt bad for Lil Wayne. I'm like, damn, man. And then after I thought about it about a day, I was like, well, damn, he didn't even say, oh, even if he didn't want to mention Kendrick, he could have said, because this is the first time a hip hop artist is headlining in the Super Bowl. Like, he could have said, well, it's still a win for hip hop. Y'all remember that. It's about hip hop. Anything. He didn't
Right.
even have to say Kendrick, and I understand why he didn't, because he's friends with Drake, whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah, and
Nicki
again,
Minaj has been wilding out too.
yeah, no, I seen that. And again, that's why I said. So then people start putting hate towards Kendrick, which why? Like it's not Kendrick's decision. It wasn't Kendrick's fault. Like that's what I
Of
didn't get
course
either.
he's gonna accept it. Anybody would. Come
But that
on.
shows you right there the influence that these artists have over grown folks, not to mention peers. So imagine a youth that's always hearing about treating women improperly, doing
Sipping
pills,
on lean.
drinking,
Mm-hmm.
killing. So yes, that's why I respect D1's stance. And his response is really good, by the way.
Okay.
Regardless, or his not response, his reply, because
Yeah.
again, he's not like responding. It's a reply.
Right.
I like it probably as much as Lecrae, and I love Lecrae. The
And
Pink
see,
Says
I'm
like,
gonna listen to it. I haven't yet, but I do plan on it. But I'm not gonna react to it because I'll look like a hypocrite.
right,
So I'm not gonna
respectfully,
do that. But
respectfully.
I am gonna listen to it on my own though, and
Nah,
I'll
that's
probably
good.
make a comment about it whenever I do my next reaction.
Yeah. And that's why I said that was my whole comment to you. Like, hey, I wish you would. I mean, again, I didn't know you went through all that today. I was at work, and then I
Yeah.
had basketball practice. Went to the store, got home, shower, whatever, got ready for bed. And then I saw your little thing. I was like, giving up on hip hop. So I was like, oh, she's just trolling. And then I come
Yeah,
up
I
here.
was. I was just trying to be funny for a minute, and then I'm like, well, damn, y'all motherfuckers getting serious.
And then I saw her so listen to this country and stuff. I'm like, what is she doing? So that's why I was like, what did I walk into? So, but it's cool. Again, that's you being you. And it's like I said, you know, I always respect you. We like I said, 4 or 5 years, whatever it's been now. So
That's
I'm
me
always
taking it light on the motherfuckers. I'm
right.
like, y'all think I'm yeehaw country white woman. I can do country. We can do
Yeah.
that.
Nah, and that's why I said you. Like I said, your rap, you know, a lot. Like you probably have as wide of a base as I do. Because like I said, from 2004 or five is when I kind of left mainstream alone. It was starting to already go towards that, the whole Jeezy era and
Oh,
all that.
trust me, there's a lot I don't know. Like King Dada, actually, his knowledge is amazing. And
Nah,
he was asking me questions, and I'm like, I don't know. Motherfucker,
yeah,
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of stuff I don't know. So,
yeah. We crossed paths because there's another reactor that I've been on, whatever I taught, and so we have, and he respect me, I respect him as well. We haven't had a chance to face talk, but he definitely does know a whole lot of stuff. And again,
oh man.
I tell people all the time, I joke and say I probably forgot more hip hop than most people know because, like I said, I have Sugar Hill. I got a picture of me like 9 years old holding up a Sugar Hill Rapper's Delight on wax. Like
Yeah.
that's how far back I go. Double Dutch Bus. People don't consider that really hip hop, but he's basically rapping on the Double Dutch Bus. So I go way back, listen to it all throughout the 80s. My mom was like, it's just going to disappear. It's like disco. It's a fad, blah, blah, blah.
Well,
And then
see,
as soon
with
as,
me, I guess I'm so passionate about hip hop, and I get very sensitive about it, depending on what we're talking about,
mm-hmm,
because of how I grew up. Like I grew up in a household where you ain't allowed to listen to rap.
right.
That's the devil's music.
Mm-hmm.
I had to sneak and listen and fell in love, and I would sneak and buy cassette tapes when I was little. And my big brother's actually who bought me my first cassette tape. It was Snoop Dogg Doggy Style. And I was
Mm,
like 10 or 11, somewhere in there. And I
mm-hmm.
listened to it and I fell in love with Lottie Dottie. And
Oh, yeah.
I would rewind it and I get my notebook out and write down the lyrics to try to memorize it. And then
It's,
when I
so
was 10,
you hadn't even heard the Slick Rick version before you heard that. You just fell in love with the Snoop one
no.
first. Yeah,
Mm-mm.
that's awesome.
And we moved to Tennessee when I was 10. And
Mm-hmm.
it's actually the city where the Triple K originated. And
Mm-hmm.
they still march the square and stuff. And like, I grew up around a lot of racists. And I think you listened to the piece I wrote, It Stops Where It Starts, right?
Mm-hmm. I did. Yep.
And I tell my whole story about all that. And I started hanging out in the hood and stuff, and I guess people just see what I look like and just prejudge. And I get that. I understand it, but at the same time it's like, you don't know everybody's backgrounds, and I made that mistake with D1. So,
Right.
you know.
And that's the same thing. That's why I said I deal with that all the time, just because of where I am, what I do in the community. And I mean, most people know me around here now, and I mean, I get that love and
Everybody
respect.
knows me here too.
Yeah, and so I mean, I get that love and respect, but that's why like I get out there, I always try to like break those boundaries down, because I mean, like I said, I was raised by a black man, so I was different. Like he came into my life when I was 8 years old. He married my mom when I was 10. I have two younger brothers and a younger sister. We're
Right.
both biracial, so my upbringing was a little different, and then people I hung with or whatever. But I've also seen both sides. You know, I know I can
Oh
go in
yeah.
certain places. I get certain privileges. Like I get all of that. Like I really do. But at the end of the day, I just try to teach everybody with respect. And people say I don't see color. Yes, we do, but it's really not about that.
100%. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So again, it's not about that. But that's why I don't like when people start throwing that race card out and not knowing people. So that's why I said, please don't generalize that as it's D1's fan base, because I will tell you, just as long as I've been rock with him and he DMs me back, I send him positive message. He just lost his grandpa less than a year. He calls him Paw Paw, about a year ago maybe. And in the past 9 months, so much has changed. I mean, he had Joe Budden going at him. He had Rick Ross going at him. He had
Hey, a video surfaced of Joe Budden at Diddy's freak off party, bro.
not surprised.
I was like, and Kris Jenner,
April,
Kris Jenner.
April, listen to me when I tell you. Cat Williams said this in January.
I love him. Love that
That he
interview.
said everybody's gonna be exposed. And so again, call it what you want, call it prophecy, whatever. But D1 has been pushing this agenda for 15 years. He's been saying, listen, there's too much bad in hip hop. We gotta hold people accountable. They're doing wicked stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's poisoning our communities, it's poisoning our youth. And there's a shift taking place. And that's where he got in trouble. Joe Budden was going on the podcast. Like I said, he had Rick Ross. He had, no, I said Cameron, not Cameron. It was Meek, and it was Jim
Oh
Jones.
God, Meek Mill's another one.
Jim Jones went on Sway and like called this dude out. Like he's like, you can't tell me how I'm putting my food in my people's mouth. But his whole thing is like, look, that's just like the crack dealer that's on the corner that's supplying his family, but he's killing families. Like that's what he's comparing it to, like a drug dealer that's giving poisoning our people. And I say our people because it doesn't matter what race you are. There's just as many people hooked on fentanyl and everything. Like Lecrae said in this thing, I want to find who sold my nephew, my cousin fentanyl.
I lost the love of my life September 30th last year from a fentanyl overdose.
R.I.P. I remember all that stuff. You were broken over that. So R.I.P. to that. You know, it wasn't too far after your recovery date. So again,
well, we used to do pills together, you know, and I got clean. It's been over 13 years I've been clean, but we've kept in touch, you know, and I've always had that hope that he and I would end up together. I just thought that. I always thought that he and I, when we were older, I mean, I'm old now, but older, we like when our kids are out of school, we have sons in the same class. Like, wow. And then I got the call and I'm like, I was like, even though I knew he was bad, it's like I don't know. I don't know how to. It's like I expected it, but I didn't. I wasn't prepared. If that makes sense.
No, it does. I mean, you're not for something like that. I mean, because you just feel like they've been doing it for so long, it's not going to affect them. They can keep on going. They find their invincible type stuff. Again, that stuff is happening. So just think about that happening day after day in the communities with young people. I mean, Rich Homie Quan, we just lost him. I mean, you can go on and on. You know, Juice WRLD, like. How many more do we gotta like?
Lil Peep and
Mac
Miller.
I don't even listen to them. I respect their music. I respect what they were doing in craft, but they just it gets them like it does, and then it just keeps getting pushed. It keeps getting pushed, and the whole women thing. Like if you're not basically naked rapping, you're not gonna be successful as a woman rapper. Like I don't like that. You know what I mean? Like some of them can actually rap, like but. It just doesn't appease me anymore. I was starting to talk about it. I changed my style when my son was like 3 years old. He started repeating some rap lyrics. And I'm like, I can't have him listen to Eminem at 3 and going to daycare and reciting that stuff, right? So I was listening to it, but one day he was singing the Young Jock sound, talking about, it's going down, meet me in the club, it's going down. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's 3 and this is... So, and again, my lifestyle was starting to change. I started finding Christianity. Not getting into all that, but that's when I started changing my preference. I was searching for people. That's how I discovered Lecrae. And then over time, but I mean, I still sneak and listen. I ain't gonna say sneak. I'm a grown man. I listen to Nas.
I know what you mean.
I listen to M. You know what I mean? I still listen to the ones that I grew up on that I like. Anything, you know, DMX is probably one of my favorite. Top 5
Love
all time
DMX.
And, you know.
What'd you think of M's new album?
I loved it. I think I had told you about when you were like waiting to hear. I said, hey, listen to it in order. I know people say go forward, backward. Like people get too clever. Just do what
Uh-huh.
the man said. He said listen to it in its entirety. Just do
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? But no, I loved it. I
That's
thought it
one
had.
thing I can say I respect about Eminem is now he raps about recovery. And I
Mm,
love that. Like when
right.
he did Lace It with Juice World, the
Mm-hmm.
Lace It song, that verse, I said it was the most important verse of the year. I mean,
Right. Yeah, that
thank you,
kind of thing.
Smitty. I appreciate that.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's for sure. But no, so again, me just wanted to make sure I came on because I've never been on live with you. It's probably 5
Hardly
years longer.
anybody ever comes up here with me. I wish people would come up here more. I enjoy it.
I didn't even see the little thing there until you said something. Then I was like, you know what? I need to get to bed. It's what 1 o'clock in the morning now. Good, great. 12:30 my time. And I mean, I laid down like 11 something. So, but I was like, you know what? Let me throw a t-shirt on real quick and just hop on here with April and just try and clear a little bit and make you feel more at ease. And it's just it doesn't matter. That's why people don't like him. That's why people don't like Kendrick. That's why people don't like Drake. That's why people don't like Lil Wayne because of their fans that come in there and just throw negativity towards people. Fans are short
Right.
for fanatic. People are
Right.
fanatical. So at the end of the day, like they're gonna say whatever, and it's just dumb stuff. I saw most of the comments I was reading were basically just kind of like, "Hey, this is this," and geez, and they were giving you a bunch of stuff, and you were liking it, loving it.
Hmm.
I did see that one that said, like I said, something about
Yeah, I put
W1.
laughing emojis and said, apparently my opinion triggered you.
And see, I
And
didn't see
then
that response.
that was me. I replied because she said, Kendrick was talking about you and watch the party die, just like academics. You need to get the fuck out of here. And I'm like,
Mm.
okay, I'm just gonna laugh it off and say I triggered her since she's saying I'm triggered. And
So
then she got more respectful when I did that. And but then the racist stuff started coming in. I'm like,
other people, yeah. Once you open that floodgate, it just comes in. And again, to me, that's laughable for her to say that because Kendrick's not talking about that.
No,
Kendrick is definitely talking about the
the
people
industry.
within, yeah, that came in. I mean, he's been answered that.
And if we're
So
going to talk about if you're defending, not you, but in general, if you're defending DEE-1, but you're a Kendrick fan, you do realize Kendrick will be taken off that legend list, right?
right.
Like, so.
Again, I don't know necessarily taking people like I think we as people put people legendary, and we're all human. We're all fall. We
Hmm.
all have flaws. At the end of the day, I don't care. D1's got his flaws. He'll tell you about him. The more you get to know him, he'll let you know he's a flawed man as well. We all are. Ain't nobody perfect.
Everybody is, yeah.
All of us are. So, but at the end of the day, God knows our heart. God knows we're going whatever that is to whoever. Again, I'm trying to
Hmm.
get into make this a spiritual religious thing. I don't
It's
do that.
okay.
But at the end of the day, D1 has a mission, a purpose to try and clean up his city, New Orleans. That's the mission. It's
Hmm.
called Mission Vision. It was given to him. He's been praying on that stuff for at least 8 years. But if you listen to his message, he's been standing on that. Like
How
his
old is
song,
he?
you know what?
30s?
He's in his mid 30s. Yeah, because he started teaching out of college, and then 2009 is when he, I think, first started. Maybe 2008, 2009, he started rapping.
39.
Yeah. So he's been around. He's seen, like I said, he grew up in the same era, like 5 years younger. So he's all about the No Limit. He's all about the Hot Boys. He's all about Manny Fresh, Juvie. He'll tell you that. Like he says in his stuff, a lot of stuff he talks about. Like I grew up on those guys, so I know the influence it had on me. And then when I started teaching, I saw that. So he said, I'm gonna start rapping because I feel that rap I can make more of an impact. He wanted to be a
Hmm.
teacher to help change his community. He thought being a teacher would do it. These teachers ain't got no power these days. Just look at the schools. Half of them don't want to be there.
You
They're
know,
overworked,
that's what I
underpaid.
wanted to be my whole life is a
Yeah,
teacher. I wanted to be an English spelling teacher for seventh and eighth grade. Like I had it all planned out. And then that
right,
shit happened. And I'm like, well, not being a teacher.
right.
So I went into nursing.
Well, that's a good one too because you got compassion for people. So and obviously your compassion shows because look at how it hurt you today. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that wasn't your intention. You were just speaking. And you said in there, y'all tell me if I'm wrong. And people started telling you were wrong, and you were respectful. Like, okay, maybe I was a little off. But
Yeah.
then when somebody goes to that, I understand how that triggers because again,
Hmm.
to me, like I said, it's ignorance. I don't even entertain it. I used to, but then I'm like,
Yeah,
you know
I
what? People
didn't
gonna feel
say
it.
anything. Well, actually, I did reply to the first person that said something.
Right.
I said, oh, really? I wasn't aware hip hop was about color. And I said, "Get the fuck out of here!" Like I started getting mad. I'm like, "Oh God, I
Right.
gotta stop. I've got to stop."
And honestly, like I said, there's people who just jumped on your page for the first time ever. If they went and looked, saw what you've done, see what you do, they wouldn't feel that way. So that's why you
Hmm.
can't let that. That's just because they were impressed by, had a first impression of that, and you did make the comment, about about the kids and about your son and the Eminem thing. So that could be taken where people like she doesn't get it, but they don't
She's
know
just
that
the
you really did.
Eminem stan, yeah.
Right, and so they were
But
like, but
look
no,
at, I
yeah,
mean, you can see my wall though. Like, do they think that's just
they
bullshit?
don't.
I don't know.
They don't. And again, I think that's why I said when people start talking, she for them to make the comment saying like we don't know about hip hop, they should be speaking on it. Like to me, that's even funny because we're not even talking about hip hop, we're talking about rap. So most of them probably don't know the four elements of hip hop that
Right.
originated. Like they're just like so. I don't know. I mean, because people spray paint stuff like and that's not that could be determined as offensive. People spray painting. That's one.
Mhm.
Graffiti is one of the
Mhm.
elements. You know what I mean? So does
Mhm.
that mean because a graffiti artist sprays triple K, if they
Mhm.
spray it, like does that mean that they're again? It's
Right.
all subjective. You just got to take it for that grain of salt of what it was. Don't let it stop what you're doing. Still do your
Oh,
stuff.
I'm not. I mean, I've been through a lot of shit on this
Yeah.
platform. I got trolled
Right.
to the extreme last year and learned a lot. And if that didn't make me stop, I'm not stopping.
Right.
So, I made it through that by God's grace. I don't know how. And now I'm cool with the motherfuckers somehow. But
Right.
it's been a hell of a journey. It's been almost 5 years now. I wanted to ask you, NF, someone told me that his song Turn My Back is a diss to Lecrae. I didn't get that.
Turn my back. So Lecrae, unfortunately, some of it deserving, undeserving for him, and he'll tell you he went through a phase. I'm trying to see how to
I
say this
saw an interview
because
with where Lecrae said he went to a Diddy party.
he's been there before. He was smoking weed in a video with Ty Dolla called Blessings. And he's been vocal about that. He was drinking, even though he was in the Christian platform. He got crucified, whatever. Like
Hmm.
Christians were going. I mean, he had so much hate stuff. People in the industry, well, the I shouldn't say the industry, the Christian hip hop community, because one time he said about being a Christian rapper, like that's always been a stigma for whatever reason people
Mm,
don't want to put on them. Like I'm a rapper who is a Christian. Like no,
mhm,
however you want to word it, like but
mhm.
they made it like a negative thing, which I'm glad now because there are a lot of dope hip hop artists. Like I said, I could list you 250, 300. Like right now, I could just start saying, listen to this first, listen. Like that's how much I'm deep into it. Listen to it, because it's what's helped me. There's a lot of dope groups out there. People have spun off from Lecrae. Andy Mineo's another one. I think you've reacted to him as
Oh
well.
yeah, I
Andy
love
Mineo is
him.
dope. He's got a new
He's
project.
he is mad talented.
Yeah, he's got a new project coming out. He's been kind of sitting in the wings. But anyway, back to Lecrae. So what Lecrae is that he became the pinata for Christian hip hop, and everybody just took shots at him because of what he was dealing with, his own demons he
So
was going. I
did
mean, he went.
NF diss him?
I would have to really deeply listen to it. I think he just. I
Me
don't think he
too.
dissed him. I think he said his point of view on his interaction with him. Does that makes like I don't wouldn't call it like shot subliminal. Like I don't think they
See,
dissed him.
I've only heard that song just when I reacted to it. That wasn't one that I
Yeah.
replayed.
There's some
So
subliminals that could be taken to that point and yeah, just speak on it, but I wouldn't call it a diss. Like, and don't
okay.
get me wrong, there are a lot of
Yeah, I've heard
clips
some
within.
bad shit about Lecrae, and it
He had a four or
bothers me.
5 year run there where he went through some stuff. Like he was dealing with his own
He's
demons.
human.
Thank you.
I mean,
But
I'm a Christian and I'm a recovering drug addict. I was on drugs for 15 years of my life and I still believed in God the whole time.
right,
Like just because someone struggles with someone differently than what you struggle with doesn't make them better or worse than you. You
right,
know.
for sure. And so but he was trying. He was more hypocritical about it because he was
Mhm.
acting like he was cool. People taking shots at him. And he was like, you don't understand. Yeah, he was denying. So it became when he did come clean, and he did come through it, and he talked
Mhm.
about it. And now, I mean, he's back to making some really dope music. And now he did an on the radar freestyle the other day because on the radar now is popping all these Christian artists on there, and it's pretty cool
I'll
because
have
you're
to
starting to
check
see.
that out.
Yeah, no, the freestyle is dope. Of course, he's been on Sway. He's killed the Five Fingers of Death a couple times now. So there's been some time where he's been out there, but he was crossing over to the secular artist, and
Mm-hmm.
people were taking shots at that. But I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's what you're supposed to do. Jesus didn't just
Right.
go to the church; like he went to the tax collector.
Exactly.
He went to the person that had the issue with blood. He went to the like. That's how you get healing. You don't. People don't go to the hospital if they're not sick. Like at the end of the day, so that people aren't going to always come to church when they're hurting. Like you got to go find them and then minister to them that way. So I understand what he was trying to do. I kept
Mm-hmm.
him praying. Like I pray for all of them, but DEE-1, that's why I said like he's like I've sent him prayer and he sent me messages the same way I do with you, and he sent me stuff
Mm-hmm.
back like, bro, I really appreciate everything you've done. Like I got the receipts on IG,
Mm-hmm.
and he's hit me back because now I mean he's quadrupled his numbers just in the past this
Oh, I
year
bet.
probably.
Yeah.
And then really now he's probably, I mean, I don't know where he's at now, but he used to like he's still responding. Like he responded to me the other day after I sent something about him. I'm praying for you because you're about to have, because now he did mention Joe Budden in that freestyle when you listen to it. So after that was kind of clear, now he's got to get ready because Joe Budden's going to come back because Joe's not going to let it rest. So now he's
Are
got to
you
be ready for
sure?
that.
I don't think Joe Budden's gonna rap.
No, no, I don't not rap, but he's going to talk about him again. He's talked about
I
him
wouldn't
multiple
even acknowledge him unless he got in the booth. Rap, Joe.
times.
Bitch ass. I can't stand him, man. I
Nope, he's
cannot stand him.
everybody. I mean, Crooked I tried to get him to come back out. Joe Ortiz got to come back out. Nope, Joe's not coming back in the booth for nobody. He's just going to continue to make his money off his podcast. He's hilarious, though. He is hilarious. I don't really care
I
for him either.
can't
He's
stand
hilarious.
him. It's weird. Like a lot of people, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff about hip hop I still need to learn. Like
Mm-hmm.
where I live is such a small country town. I mean, less than 8,000 population. You know, it's just like we listen to whatever was popular, you know, like I never heard of Lupe Fiasco. I never
Mm-hmm.
The only Kanye shit I knew was the Gold Digger and like the popular on the
Right.
radio shit, you know. Nas, never heard shit from Nas.
Oh my goodness.
And Jay-Z, obviously I knew his like the only song I liked, and that's because it was the popular one, I guess, is Get That Dirt Off Your Shoulder, you know. And I tried to react to some Jay-Z because you know, so many people compliment him, say he's the king of rap and all that stuff. And I'm like, I
Not this
don't
guy.
get it. I don't get it. And so I tried to react to a couple things by him and it kept getting blocked. I finally
Yeah.
got to do Renegade, finally, just yesterday or day before. So, and people are like,
Yeah.
why are you reacting to this old shit? I'm like, it ain't old to me.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Now, I mean, I respect Jay, but I've never really been a fan of Jay and Diddy and Kanye and of course Dr. Dre. Initially, those four have always been questionable about their ethic and how they get people to a certain, just the things that happen and people around
Mm-hmm.
them. Dre changed a little bit, but he has so much with his family, like just what he's like. He dope producer, but to me, he's like he must be the worst human being. Like he denies children and all that stuff. Like
Right.
he's got to me, and then Diddy, I've always because of the whole Biggie thing, just
Yeah, he's
suspicious
been a
about him.
weirdo.
Jay-Z, a lot of stuff with him and Dame Dash and how that went down with
Yeah, that
Rockefeller,
was
how he
fucked
was
up.
sneaky with that, and then unfortunately Aaliyah, like all those things like this. Oh, and then Jay-Z, the way he got
Pimp
his name,
C, Pimp
huh?
C, Pimp
Yeah,
C.
yep, yep, yep. I mean, he came out against the industry. DMX, after he had a freestyle with him, Big L, after he had a freestyle with him, Jay-Z got his name from one of his homies,
Big
Jazzo.
L's
Like
another one.
that's what I said. Yeah, Big L. Like I'm saying, they wanted, and it was just so much stuff. I mean, everything he did, he was stolen. That's why I like. I think it was Cameron went at him and said, "I'm not a writer, I'm a biter," because he had like he always was using everybody else's lyrics, and he said he never wrote stuff down. I was like, yeah, because you memorize everybody else's stuff and you just put it into your own song.
Mm-hmm.
But he's dope. He's a great performer. I mean, it's like some people like
And
Drake.
he
He's a great.
won. He's the only rapper to have been inducted into the Writers Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they got a whole museum after him up there. Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah,
again, it's weird. He's probably gonna be next on this list because him and Diddy were
that's
like
what
that.
I heard. That's what I
Yeah,
heard.
and Diddy's
I
not gonna go
heard,
down alone. That's for sure. No,
yeah.
no pun intended there. But he's not.
Like I hope I wish they'd throw his weirdo ass in gin pop and not protect his funky ass is what I wish.
Yeah.
But that ain't gonna happen.
I mean, think about it. Diddy and Jay were together. Then you had Jay was with R. Kelly, best of both
You know
worlds.
he's in the same place as R. Kelly.
Is he? That's surprising.
Yeah. And just like Maxwell or whatever fucking name is, Epstein's chick,
Oh,
she's there too. Like,
again, the politics part after all this, I just look at it. It's like it doesn't engage me. I mean, I've been watching some of my people that I react, and I watched some of your stuff on Diddy, and I mean, I think it's hilarious some of the stuff, but
I
it's
got a
just wild.
clown on him.
Yeah, that thing. I mean, when you put that thing about was it 748? I'm like, really? Like, who needs that? Like, that's wild.
I was like, and I'm like, what's a good song that would go with this that would be funny? Hell no to the no.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then when I posted about my reaction to the indictment, because I got a hold to the actual indictment, and I'm like, oh, I gotta read this. Oh, I'm going live. Let's do this. And then when I put up the thumbnail to say it was up on my channel, I put fucked around and got locked up. They won't let me in.
See, you're a mess. But
I hate
again,
him.
yeah. And so all that stuff, I mean, obviously it was Suge Knight, and like there was just so many.
Tupac and Biggie.
The whole thing, yeah. So, but back to Jay-Z. So I've never. I mean, I think Jay's a dope artist. Like I think he's very. I don't think he's one of the best lyricists, and he knows how to put tracks together.
I don't
he's
either.
very good. He gets the right people around him. Obviously, he's doing the right thing. I mean, he's a billionaire, right? Like who am I to sit here and judge and critique him? But he's made it work. And it's the same thing with Drake. Like Lecrae made a great statement on his podcast one day. Well, he was with, maybe it was an interview on somebody else. But anyway, he made a comment about the whole Kendrick and Drake because he respects both of them. He said Drake is a fantastic.
When he said Kendrick's,
yeah.
When he said Kendrick is from the culture and Drake is a fan of the culture, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, I love that. I'm like, that is exact. That is the perfect explanation. You know, I couldn't have said that better.
So we're all fans. I ain't gonna say all fans. Most of us are fans of the culture. So that's what some people could have been taking an angle towards you, but they're not necessarily a product of the culture. But then that's when the people in New York start to get offended because they're like, wait a minute, if you're not from the Bronx, then you're not a product of the culture. You know what I mean? Because it's expanded so much. So where does it like kind of, that's where the boundary gets tricky. So anyway, hip hop as a whole. So that's why I said that's where the thing I think really balances like what's lyrical versus what's just entertainment type thing. Like there's certain ones we know they weren't doing the stuff they were saying. They were just perpetrating it and putting it out there. But now it's led to where people are actually doing it and continue to doing it. And then they get indicted and then RICO charges. And now you got Young Thug, you know, it'd be like all that stuff because they don't know how to separate the two. Like Too Short.
YNW Melly. He's on, you know.
But if you go all the way back, like was Too Short really a pimp? I don't know. He made you think he was. Was Ice-T really a gangster? Ice-T maybe was a gangster, but now he's made more money in entertainment doing Law and Order or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? And in movie theaters, Ice Cube, he's a great example. He's one that was in that. He helped build that, and then he changed his thought process, and he started changing his lyrical content, and he went to more
50 Cent too.
50 Cent. There's a lot of them that went to more conscious rapping. And then you got people who have always been about the conscious rap, but it's not popular, so people don't understand it.
That's right, Sandy.
Yep, that's a perfect example right there.
Yep.
And so I like I said, that's why it's so subjective. So I don't really take heed. And like I said, I know you do care a whole lot more. You're like, I try to tell you a lot of times, like, don't take stuff so in your feeling. Like everybody's not gonna like you, everybody's not gonna rock with you.
Well, I've gotten a lot better than I used to be, believe it or not.
Well, I've been with you from the beginning. At the beginning, you kind of worked. Like at the beginning, you let a lot of stuff. Like you wouldn't shoot back as much. It was when you started getting into this community of a YouTube and people were doing you dirty and saying they're gonna do this and that, and then without getting names involved, then it started to really like make you more bitter towards it. And then when you weren't seeing, like you were growing it to know, because like I think I don't remember what I was doing, but it's been a long, like I don't even know if you had a K at the time. Like you were, and I've been watching your stuff because I was like, man, she actually is catching these bars. People start talking about whether you listened to it before or not. I don't care either way.
I don't. I promise I don't.
I know we've talked about it, but I'm saying even we know some who do. It's obvious because because people respect you for you, April. And so when you start getting into that, that's how
obviously they don't.
No, they do. Because
No.
look how no,
If we're at the cookout and motherfuckers is talking shit about me and then being nice to my face, they don't respect me. That's not respect.
that's people being people, April. You're from a small town of 8,000 people. I'm just telling you now. People do that to me all the time. You think I care? I don't care. Like that's fine because I'm gonna still be
It's
unequivocally
cool
me.
if people don't like me, but don't act like you do. That's my
That's
thing.
people. That's people though. I'm telling you, April. The
I
bigger you
don't
get up,
I don't care.
look,
I don't like it and I'll continue to say so.
and you have every right to do that. But I'm just letting you know. At the end of the day, people are gonna be people. So don't let it stop who you are because you were on this like crazy incline, and of course you
It's
were hitting it.
crazy.
You were hitting at the right time though because of course we were all locked in the house. We had to be in there. Like
Hmm.
COVID, that was a blessing for social media people to be able to use their platforms and grow. People like you should get a channel. I'm like I don't. That's not what I do. I work. I do my job.
Hmm.
Sure, everybody wants to be entrepreneurship, right? But again, I was like, nah, I'm good. I just keep being entertained with who I'm listening to. It was able to keep me at peace. So
Right.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've always been there. You've done the reactions for me. We've gone back and forth, like personal stuff. We
Yeah.
DM. So it's always been cool. I've always been there to pray with you whenever you're going through your
And I
illnesses, help you out.
appreciate you so
Yeah,
much. I
I
hope you
know
know that. Like, it's a mutual respect between us, and I
for
hope
sure.
you know that.
For sure. And that's
Uh,
why I felt inclined, even though it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I gotta be up at 6 to get up here with you today. Cause I was like, no, this day can't go without her at least understanding where everything's come from. So that's why, and I didn't know you always put the link up there. I would have been on here before. I just sometimes just
yeah, I started
don't.
using this software about the beginning of the year. And so now I usually go live at night, usually
Mm-hmm.
every night, and just listen to music. Even if I'm in here by myself, I don't get, as you see, I don't get many viewers in my live streams for whatever reason. I don't know why. But
I'll tell you why, because they're not telling everybody. I didn't know that you were like. I used to get alerts all the time. You gotta like unsubscribe and subscribe back. It's the same thing with Trap Terrell. That's what I used to always rock with him,
uh-huh.
and then you were on. I saw earlier when I got home. I was flipping through some of the stuff because I was on live with Rom, with
Uh-huh.
Ardis
I
and
like him.
Brianna. Yeah, that's my guy. I was actually on there talking about Tom
I
McDonald.
was in his chat when he first went live, so that's weird.
No, that's what I'm saying. Today I saw you had posted a comment. He pinned your comment. So, oh, she was in this
Yeah.
one, I think. But I wasn't in that one today. I'm just saying
Oh,
I went.
okay.
I actually went because I was up in near where he lives. I'm not gonna put where he lives. I was up near where he lives, and I went to a baseball game there. And then on my way back, I went through and stayed. I went by his house and stayed. Like we went on live. I was in his studio,
Yeah,
and we went live
that's
in there.
cool.
Yeah, it was cool. He was very hospitable. Showed me
You
hospitality.
said it right.
Yeah. You're the
Have
one that's
you?
English major.
We never heard a lot of East Coast rappers down here when I was growing up. Like
Mm.
I did, we didn't even hear. I'm the one who brought Eminem Slim Shady when he dropped the Slim Shady LP. I brought it from Detroit. I went up there to visit my cousin because up north they graduate in June, and down
Mm-hmm.
south we graduate in May. And I had graduated in May. I was 18, and so I went up there for a couple weeks to see her graduate and just party. And
Right.
it was crazy. And they're like, "Oh, there's this new rapper. You gotta hear him. Check it out." And I'm like, "Okay." And the first song they played was '97 Bonnie and Clyde by
Mm.
Eminem. All of a sudden, I'm like, "The fuck is?" Like, I was offended. I'm like, "Oh my God, what do y'all got me?" And then they're like, "No, you just gotta listen. Just give him a chance." Then they play Guilty Conscience. And I'm, what the fuck do y'all got me listen? But then by the end of it, I'm like, "Take me to the CD store."
Right.
And I brought the Slim Shady LP down to my little town and introduced all my friends, and nobody had heard of him,
Yeah.
you
Any
know?
lyricist that can paint a picture and make you see what they're writing, that's what I love. That's what I like about your pen game. Like you
Oh,
low
thank you.
key, you don't have the rhythm, but you write the story. Like you will tell the story. And that's why I mean I've always been Big Daddy Kane, Cool G Rap, Kim. I said Karis one earlier, and then that led to, of course, the other people in the early '90s. And then Snoop, I love his storytelling stuff because it was kind of like it reminded me of Slick Rick was another one of my favorite. Dana Dane, like all those guys, and then kind of went in. And Eminem when he came, he was just on some like whoa, you could say whatever, just like lyrically, he would just put
You
you in
know,
this
one of
like,
Tech Nine's biggest inspirations was Slick Rick,
oh
which
yeah,
I was surprised by that. I was like, really? And
no,
he
Slick
he
Rick was crazy with his stuff.
he
People don't realize.
copied. he said some lyrics, and he was like, the way he said this, and he did it kind of fast, and I'm like, wait a minute, I ain't never heard nothing. And so he started trying to, doing the fast thing, and I thought that was dope.
Yeah, and see, that's what I said. So again, when I talk about it, like that was that whole era, and then so the boom bap always sticks with me. I mean, I love all the people that came out, from Mobb Deep and all of it. And I was in Virginia. I still do live in Virginia. Reside, I said in Virginia. So we're in the middle. So it's like East Coast people used to be like, if you weren't from New York, you weren't nothing. But then people
Hmm.
only like New York rap. Like that was it. They didn't
Right.
branch out. Like when I first heard Outkast, I was like, yo, these guys are crazy. Like Andre 3000
Oh
before
man.
before Erica Badu, whatever happened, whatever voodoo she put on him, he went on some. He's very creative, but his pen game back then, man. And
Hmm.
then I was always been a Scarface fan, so I listened to everything. Then I started listening to the West Coast people like you're crazy. I'm like, nah, man, King T is dope. Like Ice T was dope, and that led to me, obviously finding Too Short, and then E40, and then their whole conglomerate that
And
came from
see,
there.
I never got in. Like, I know who they are
Mm-hmm.
now, and I respect them, but I've never listened to any of who everybody you just said. I
And,
just reacted to Scarface, a couple songs by Scarface within the last year, I think, and I liked it. And then there was somebody. Is it called Spice One? Is that
Spice One,
right?
yeah, he's from Oakland area too. He's from the E40 area. Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I
Spice
liked
One.
him.
You got DJ Quick. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, you got Compton's Most Wanted. I mean, there's so many from every area, and that's what I said. Like with for instance, right there in your picture, Cobb, like the circle bars are like Crooked was influenced by all those guys we
Oh
just talked
yeah,
about, and his pen game is ridiculous.
he's in my top five.
Yeah, he's ridiculous with his pen game. So, and of course, same with
Life of
Luke.
a Bandana.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back real quick. So you said you did react to Scarface. Did you Scarface and Tupac? Smile.
No, I've
You
only
react.
reacted to September of 2022. It was first time hearing Scarface, never, and first time hearing Scarface, it ain't shit.
Yeah. Do Tupac because I know you're a Tupac fan. He's on your wall too.
Mhm.
Tupac and Scarface did a song called Smile, and it was post Tupac. So he actually
Mhm.
had to use like a computer CGI for back then. But you're gonna love it. It's gonna probably bring a tear to your eye. Okay.
Okay. It's called
Okay.
what?
Smile.
Oh Lord. It already sounds sad. Scarface
It's what I
Tupac.
mean. It's one song I just turn on every once in a while just to vibe with.
I'll
Because
definitely
Scarface,
check.
he was with the Ghetto Boys, and he actually was crazy because Mine's playing tricks on me. Their whole album and stuff. He actually wrote for the two guys, Willie D and the little midget Bushwick Bill. He wrote a lot of this stuff for them, just like Ice Cube did for NWA. They were
Mm,
the writers of the group, but they had to have the different personalities. So
right.
again, a lot of these people don't realize what was going on back then. With it would be one writer out the group, and they wrote for everybody, and because they wanted the song to flow, and it's like, okay, you're gonna do this part, you're gonna put emphasis on this, and sometimes they would do their own verse. And I go say like they didn't
Mhm.
do any writing,
Mhm.
but they just rapped it. Like they were just the artist, they weren't the writer. So that's nothing new. I mean, I'm from the home, like I said, Mad Skills, aka Skills, used to do all his wrap ups. He's from about 60 minutes, about an hour from me in Richmond, and he's one of the dopest with his pen. He wrote for everybody. He actually had a song one time called Ghostwriter. He said, "I'm your
Uh-huh.
favorite rapper's ghostwriter." And then one time he said, "If y'all don't start paying me, I'm gonna put the names in it." And he mentioned people, and he hinted. He was talking about Diddy at one point. Diddy wasn't paying him.
Everybody tells me I need to be a ghost writer, but I'm like, I don't want to be no ghost. I
Why
don't-
not? Just be a writer then. April, take the ghost out of it. It's still gonna be. You're good.
I
It's
wouldn't even
good.
know how to go about. I got on this AI app. Did you see
I
that?
saw that the other day. Yeah, what it would
What did
sound like
you
if I
think of
did.
that?
I told you it was awesome. I commented in there. I said that's awesome. Yeah.
I did. I had to put the lyrics in probably 56 times because it kept giving me trash shit, and I'm like, this does not sound. You should see my little AI playlist I got, but I'm like, this is trash. And then finally it did that one. I'm like, well, this is all right, and
Yeah,
I
it sounded
couldn't.
pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Yep.
couldn't put all the lyrics in because they only allow 3,000 words, and I write long shit, but
Yeah,
it
it's more
sounded
poetry.
okay. I'm like, it was weird for me because I'm like, it's just weird to hear, even though it's not a real person. It just weird to hear someone else's voice do my shit. You know,
But and
it's
that's what you
weird.
don't understand. That's what I don't get now. Like you don't know what's real and what's not. Like when all those beefs are going on, you got all these people. Like the one guy that does the Eminem stuff, and
Yeah,
you know
Lil
what I
White,
mean.
I
Yeah,
think, or Lil
and then
Bite.
even yeah, I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
his name. That's one. I mean, but you even like when Kendrick and the Drake thing was going on, and one of the things came out that was kind of supposedly was like an AI. You had all these.
Drake did Tailor Made Freestyle, and he had AI Tupac and Snoop on there.
Yeah, like it's just crazy. We don't know where the future is going to be with this stuff. So if you're not a dope lyricist, or in your case, if you want to be a writer, not a ghost, but if you want to be a writer, you might be able to make some money off of that because you don't know. I mean,
I
what you
mean,
do
I
is
don't know how to even go about being a writer for anybody. I mean, where I live is nothing. And
it,
so,
that's what they look for, April. I'm just telling you, like you just got to get connected with somebody who really truly respects your pen game and have them do one of your songs. And then when somebody says it, and they got to give you credit for it and be like, who is this? That song is dope. And then they'll be like, oh, this is April Shout. And you're going to be getting
well,
credit.
I've had artists say that they're going to make my song into raps, and well,
Yeah. Yep. I got you. Part of the whole struggle. Yeah. I remember that too. You had a few people that you had mentioned. So, but again, keep being you. Keep being you, sis.
and I
My sister.
hadn't called them out or nothing. I'm just saying, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't do that, but, and I still respect the main two, but I don't know. It's just like, don't tell people that shit. Don't
Right.
get people's hopes up like that. What are you like? You built your brand on being real, bro. What are you?
No. They're flawed human beings, April. Like we said earlier, people are people. People going sometimes people tell you what you want to hear, not what you need to hear. That's why I said I think you've always respected me because I tell you what you need to hear,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not. There's some stuff I noticed a couple times you like this mother ever, like, but then you're like, no, that's Coach, that's my guy. And I've said the same thing. Like, look, April, like I told you, you were kind of left on that, so it did come out, and some people just don't know. They went left or more left than you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't mean, and I'm not talking left for anybody that's in the chat. Right? I don't know how many in here. I wasn't talking left like political. I'm just saying when people just are out of pocket
Mhm.
because some things that you had mentioned, like I said, were just speculation off of what your opinion was on it, which
Right.
you're entitled to. There's nothing wrong with that. But then, like I said, when I sent you, said like, "Oh, Coach, thanks. I didn't know all that." It made you
Mhm.
have a different perspective. But then when them crazies came in, and now they just shut you down, they like you forget D1. All those
Yeah.
people
Fuck
suck.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I'm making this private, and then people were in here, and I saw one of the, I think it was one of the young ladies in the thing. She had mentioned something about which group was it, and that's why I don't want people to think like, because then they'd be like, "Are you a D1 fan, Coach?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, actually I am." I'm
Mhm.
not. Well, I take that back. I'm not a fan of anybody but Nas. I would tell everybody that. I'm not even an Eminem fan. Like I love him, but the only person I'm a fan of is Nas. Like that's the one person that like I would go like that's my guy. Always
Yeah.
has been, always will be. And I'm not gonna sit here and
That's
act on
Koofy's
things.
favorite rapper.
Oh no, and Koofy's, oh my goodness, like he's another one. Like
Love
it's
him. He
yeah,
hadn't put out anything in a while though. I know
he
he's
it's about
got
a
a
month
job
ago.
and been working.
He did a month ago. I think I saw something he posted. He had pushed something out. He
I
did a little
didn't get
freestyle.
it. That's what I was going to ask you. What do you think of Lupe?
Oh, I love Lupe too. So I like Lupe. And again, we want to talk about Jay Z. Jay Z's the one that made Lupe suffer. He gave him a bad, got him in that.
Really?
Yeah, he got him into that bad contract deal. That's why
I
Lupe
didn't
put
know
out.
it was Jay-Z that did that.
Yeah, do some research on it. It was like it was
I know it was
something.
Atlantic Records.
It was something that had to do with it, and he ended up talking him into doing some, having him do that. He put out, and then he ended up having to just push stuff out. But I love the Lupe mixtape era when he said plant when he had the Rhyming Apes, the FNF. I
Mhm.
think I turned you on the Gemstones as well, and Gemstones used to be his right hand man. He's a Christian hip hop artist now.
He commented on my cover of Fire in My Heart
He
on
did, he did.
IG.
Yep.
He did, and I'm like,
Yeah, no, Gemstones. He is one of the realists as well. He's had some stuff he's been dealing with too, and he doesn't feel like he's respected as much as he should be. And
he's
but
not.
he's not. He's not. He was Gemini back then. Him
I
and Lupe
know.
were on the path. They were on FNF, which is stand for First and 15th, and they were doing all their stuff
They
and
did the
everything.
Die. I think it was the Die together.
They
Wasn't it
did a
the
whole.
Die?
I can't remember all the songs, but they did like 3 mixtapes all together. And so with Gemini, his whole thing was he was on his way to the well, I think he was at the recording studio, and one of his friends, his name is Nick. was supposed to meet him there, and he got into a motorcycle crash and died. And so then Gemini was like, how can you take my best friend from me? Like, he felt like he was giving everything up. So then he turned his life to the Lord, went on and became Gemstones. And
Right.
then he was actually there with Jay-Z and all. He said, I should have been sitting at the table, but instead I sat back and let Drake eat. If you remember that lyric.
I remember I know the whole thing by heart now. I can rap the
Yeah.
shit out of that Thank
Yeah.
you, Nato. I appreciate that so much. That really means a lot. Thank you.
No, for sure. Yeah, that is. That's what I said. The real ones know you. That's what I said. I mean, I knew. I said she can't be serious, but I didn't know how deep it was. And then when I went to look at it before I came on, I was like, she put it private. It must have been really bad. But so back to that. So again, everybody has their perspective. People just change their patterns, and he saw the same thing. He was seeing stuff. I mean, he's from Chicago. Like there's a bunch of stuff there, and they just realizing. But Lupe, back when you asked me that, for him, his stuff, like I can't even keep up with it. He's so like
intellectual.
He's on a cannabis level. Like Cannabis, when he first came out,
he went out sad as a motherfucker. I'm sorry. I seen that battle rap. I'm like,
but his pen game back then was on some futuristic, like I mean, that's back when I smoked. So I was like, oh, just zone out. You got like, yo, what did he just say? He had to rewind. His problem was he went at LL. And at the time, you didn't do that. Like, LL was up there.
But Lupe, for me, like, it was my son's birthday. So the end of August 2022, we were live together. That's when he would still get a camera with me. And the Lupe fans started coming in and requesting Lupe. And now Lupe, you know what a big deal this is tied with Eminem for my number one. After I heard the whole Michael Young history, the coolest, the die, all that, I'm like, this motherfucker needs an award, multiple. Right. I've never heard anything like this.
His doubles, his triples, he's so poetic with his pen. It's ridiculous.
And like, then I listened to his response to Kendrick, the SLR2. And I was like, this motherfucker's talking in motherfucking German? What can he not do?
Right.
Damn.
Yeah. No, he is definitely dope. But again, very lyrical, very poetic. And people ask, like, that's another thing, is a debate all the time about who's top 5 and stuff like that. I mean, everybody's all personal preference.
Yeah, it's just my favorite. And I've got 7 people in my top 5 because I've got 2 tied for number 1 and 2 tied for number 5.
Okay, that's respected. So you got a top 7 out of top 5. It's cool. 1A,
number
1B.
1 is Eminem and Lupe. 2 is Tupac. 3, he's moved up. He was 5. Now he's 3, Kendrick. 4 is King Crooked. And 5 is NF and Tech 9.
Okay. And see, out of all of them, I only got 1 in my top 5.
Eminem.
Yeah, and some days I don't even put him in my top 5. So, because people always think automatically, but I mean, he's probably 4 or 5. Again, it just depends on the mood. Nas, that's 1. Kool G Rap, Redman, Eminem, and Scarface.
Okay.
But that changes sometimes because sometimes I'm feeling Jadakiss. Jadakiss has always been one of my favorites.
You see, I've never listened to one song by Kool G Rap. I've only heard the 2 by Scarface. Nas, I've only heard a few. Ether was fire. I was like, damn, he killed the fuck out of Jay-Z. When he said Gay-Z and Cockefeller, I was like, like I died. My first time reaction is up on my channel hearing that. I also reacted to Takeover and Super Ugly. I thought Takeover was dope, but it got blocked.
So you like poetic stuff, right? I Gave You Power. Nas, I Gave You Power.
Oh, I've heard that. And Rewind. Rewind is amazing too.
So I used to go. There was a
when me and my son did a best hip hop storytelling song contest.
I remember that portion.
And I Gave You Power was in it, but what won was Dance with the Devil by Immortal Technique.
Oh yeah,
that got number 1.
That's a classic. Yeah, when it comes to storytelling, it's one of the classics of all time. So you're
Nato said I'm the only one with Zach De La Rocha as my number 5. Zach De La Rocha is amazing. Like I've got a Rage Against the Machine reactions playlist with tons of breakdowns of their songs, and it's the first time hearing it because I said it was called Down Rodeo instead of Rodeo. I felt so
Rodeo.
dumb. I said it's down rodeo,
Yeah,
like a damn hick.
that's that small town Tennessee.
And so it's my first time hearing it. I bet people were like, rodeo, the fuck?
I like that MF Doom one too. That's another one. He's another one that I think
I'm
a lot of
not a
people didn't
fan of
appreciate.
MF Doom.
Really, you got to appreciate the body
I
work after.
respect him and RIP, but just never got into him. I don't like Earl Sweatshirt or what the fuck. I don't like him.
Right. Yeah, now Dig, that was pretty Outcast. Like I said, Andre 3000, like I said, I always put in there, I say, yeah, I like Andre 3000, but I always put pre Erica Badu because after he
That's
had
funny.
the relationship and all that stuff in the child and his whole, he was on but the first couple albums, whew,
I
man,
like that. What's it called? Fish and grits. If you like fish and grits and all
and
that
all
pimp shit, put your hands
that.
in the air. Say, "Oh
Oh,
yeah!"
yeah.
I
Oh,
love that.
yeah. Yeah. And
I
all those
didn't know he
guys.
was from England. Did you?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't know that. Like I said, I don't know enough about him. I just know when I started listening to some of his music after he passed, unfortunately, I was like, man, I could appreciate that. It was pretty good penmanship.
Yeah.
So it's and that's the thing, unfortunately, like a lot of times we don't because it's so much like there's something out there for everybody. And that's why I say like everybody just gotta know. Again, everybody doesn't listen to what I listen to because it's
Right.
Christian, because of the message or
Right.
whatever. So it's cool. But that's why I was like the message is out there and a lot of these people I just don't even try new artists because of that. I don't remember how. I think Corday was when he did one of the Eminem ones when he did a remake. I was like, yo, this guy's got crazy talent. Then I started listening to his original stuff. I'm like, yo, he's next. But it wasn't ready for him because it was during the mumble rap. He was with that whole crew, and it was a bunch of them. But then he broke off from them and started doing his own thing after he got out of the deal with them. And now his lyrics, his pen is crazy. So
Yeah. Absol's amazing.
Absol. I mean, you got there's so many. You go on Q-Tip.
Schoolboy
You know what I mean?
Q.
Yeah. Yep. There's a ton of artists, and it just depends on what area and or era and area that you're
Yeah,
in
it
on what you're going
does.
to listen to and not listen to.
You know what pisses me off?
What's that?
So my favorite genre is actually R&B.
Yep, we talked about that before.
Yeah, with hip hop so close they're hugging. But my favorite R&B song is by the two weirdos, Diddy and R. Kelly. Satisfy You. I'm like, that's my luck.
Right.
The best R&B song I've ever heard is by the two fucking weirdos.
Yeah. There's like I said, there's so much that's still going to come out of that. It's ridiculous. So I real quick set my alarm so I make sure I get up.
I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. Like I said, it's long overdue. I should have been did this, but that's another reason why I don't always catch you because I'm usually asleep by this time, and you're just getting started sometimes.
Yeah,
You and
I
your
usually
insomniac self.
I don't sleep at night usually,
Yeah,
you
and you're an
know.
hour behind me, so it's not even as bad. But I'll be good. I got a team of good people, so they'll be working good tomorrow. I'll be all right. But yeah, no, it's just I mean, when we talk about rap as a whole, I think it's one thing that can unite us, but even more
Absolutely.
so because of certain fan bases, it divides us more than ever. There's no reason why that battle just took place with Kendrick and Drake shouldn't have been more appreciated. It became a us versus them, and it shouldn't be. It should. If you look at it, like I said, I'm not a fan of either. So when you look at it from a holistic, like Drake actually had some dope bars in his stuff.
Not
Like
as dope as Kendrick though. And
no,
here's the thing. Let me say this real quick.
sure,
I tried very hard to be unbiased during that whole thing. I really did. But when I heard The Heart Part 6, I got so fucking mad because he straight up lied. And I'm like, when he was like, mother, I, oh, I just made the whole connection. It's gonna be so depressing. No wonder you talk about molest. I'm like, but Kendrick said he was not molested in that song, and his mother
right.
didn't believe him. What are you doing? Now you look even more sus, bro. What? After that, I'm like, uh, and
Yeah, but
King Dada is a huge Drake fan. He thinks Drake won. He made this playlist called Drizzy Shit with 48 songs because I said Drake ain't got no real hip hop. Fuck him. And Dada's like, oh yes he does, yes he does, and he made this whole playlist, 48 songs where that he said was real hip hop. Me and my son took the time to listen to every single song. I wrote down thoughts on the what was trash and what I thought was a decent hip hop song. And then I had to go live by myself and listen to the shits again. And Donna was just complaining the whole time and focusing on the negative. And I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna stop listening to this shit. Like, do you not appreciate what I've done? Are you like, I have
Right.
literally tried to give this dude a chance. I don't like him. I
And
what?
that's my point right there. That's what fans will do. They'll turn you off of artists because of that. I'll be
Yeah,
honest. I've always said Drake is an actor turned rapper, and it's true because
100%.
he has a song called "Started from the Bottom." Now we hear now we all know he has ghostwriters. He didn't start from the bottom. I mean, he may have did something, but he started hip hop as an actor. I always make the joke saying he started from Degrassi. Now he's here. Like at the end of the day, and even with Kendrick, I don't listen to all of Kendrick's body of work, but when I was talking about with the whole battle, is he did have, to me, Drake had one or two songs where he put some good bars. And both of them fabricated some stuff. Both of them
Push
exaggerated some
ups
stuff.
was great. I
Yeah,
loved push ups.
and that's what I'm saying. So that's what I said. Like, if we could appreciate it just as a collective, as rap loving hip hop, doing this and being that, we can say like that was epic what we saw.
Oh my
But
gosh, it
most
was
people
the
didn't give it credit.
biggest hip hop battle we've ever experienced. I've ever experienced.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, there was Tupac Biggie, but it wasn't like this. It,
yeah.
it
Well,
was
social
just
media helped blow
different.
that up too, though. That you got to realize
Yeah,
that because Nas and Jay-Z probably would have been bigger back then if it had the
yeah,
platform. And same thing with NWA and Ice Cube. To me, like that's the dopest
yeah.
ever. Ice Cube when he took
I've
on the
never
whole crew.
heard their. Yeah, I did. I reacted to No Vaseline.
Yeah, when he did that, like he took on all the whole
The whole,
team.
yeah,
So to me, that was just like crazy back then. But again, it got squashed quicker. This one, the way they did it, and it's like Kendrick put a song out like 10 minutes after Drake. He didn't even give him a chance to
oh
shine. But that one
man,
that
it was
Drake put
so
out,
amazing.
yeah. And then of course, I mean, we all know the best one is the one that everybody's still rocking to now. Like Kendrick was
Not
very
like
strategic.
us.
He played chess the whole way. Drake was just moving checkers around the board, and then he just comes like, "I got you." So
Drake is just corny for most hip hop heads, no substance, nearly 40, talking about clubs and young women. Exactly.
yeah, and that's me as an old school hip hop. That's why I said he's just an act. He's an artist. He can put stuff together. He's very entertaining, and it's just what it is. And
Yeah.
you're not gonna like this opinion. You're not gonna like what I'm about to say.
Okay.
It's from 1980s, and I know, and because you have a son named after him. But I've always said Prince was a better musician than
I
Michael
love
Jackson,
Prince, so that don't bother me. I
but he
love
was
Prince.
much better. But Michael Jackson was that artist. He had that it factor. He drove because he was so artistic. Prince was the dopest
He
ever,
could
like to
play
me,
every fucking instrument.
every
I
instrument.
mean, I'm sure you saw the Super Bowl where he performed in the
Oh my
fucking
goodness,
rain,
did I?
purple rain. Oh
Did
my
I?
God. Like,
Like
I love Prince.
my hairs just
Like,
stood
you're not going to
when
make me mad talking good about Prince. I love
all right.
Prince.
But
So,
I'm just saying, like people always get mad. Michael Jackson's the best of all time. Like, no, he's not. He's not. And again, it's opinionated. But when you look at it, that's what I love about music is everybody can have that. But it's when people are just so like brainwashed, like, no, it's my person or no way. Like they can't
right.
be, and I ain't even say you gotta be biased. Obviously, you're gonna rock with somebody. That's why I said people tell me when I say Nas is better than Jay-Z, they say that's because he's your number one. I'm like, okay, that's right. And that's cool. Don't get
Okay.
mad at me, but you ask me who's better. Don't get mad
Right.
when I tell you. They're like,
That's like people got upset because I said Jay-Z's verse is better than Eminem's and Renegade.
right. Well, people get mad at me when I say Whitey Ford Everlast was better than Eminem, but Eminem had the power at the time. Yes.
I don't know about that.
Yes. I'm telling you,
I
April,
don't know.
Everlast, Whitey Ford, that one, the first, not the Whitey Ford sing the blue. I'm just telling you, Eminem, he said some crazy lines, but he didn't get his personal. He didn't attack him
Well,
his
and the
way.
fact that he used the hit 'em up beat too. I mean,
Yeah.
that just
Again, so it's all subjective. Again, I like Eminem better than Everlast. I'm not saying that, just being
oh, I know,
subjective. When
I
you go
know,
back
I
and listen
know.
to them, like, it's very debatable. But no, April, it's been good chopping it up with you. I had to get on here one day.
Yeah.
We have to have a topical thing or whatever, and we could talk. So I'm glad I'm finally able to get on here. It's 1:30 now, so I definitely need to get to bed, get these 5 hours of sleep
Okay.
in.
I
So
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
for sure, love you, my sister from another
Love
mister.
you too. Love you too. You
All
get
right,
sleep well.
thank you.
All
Later.
right. Bye.